Hello viewers and to my student friends of Elizabethan College. Myself Mr.V.Shanmugavel, Assistant Professor of English, Department of English, Elizabethan College, Sivas. Through this video lesson, I feel immense pleasure to meet you in this palm device. In this lesson, we are going to discuss the title Elizabethan Theatre and Audience from Unit 5 of the paper Shakespeare. Code for this paper is L3A03. The following objectives are to be discussed in this lesson. The objectives are in front of you in the slide, in the device. Introduction of Elizabethan age, William Shakespeare's biosketch, Elizabethan theatre, London and Southwark, cockfighting and bear biting, the theatre outlawed, the theatre itself, complicated questions and references. Before we take in-depth detailed about Elizabethan theatre and audience, we need to know the characteristics of Elizabethan age and its significance. Elizabethan age is the time period associated with the reign of Queen Elizabeth I between 1558 and 1603. This is often considered to be golden age in English history. This was a period of great literary creativity and prolific writing. Romance dominated all type of literature, including drama and plays that were of utmost importance during this time. Authors during this era come from all of the classes, including distinguished courtiers to poor poets, hung out in local taverns, and invariably all were male. This age is perhaps most famous for its theatre and produced some of the world's great playwrights of Shakespeare and Christopher Marlowe. Now let us take a look at bio sketch of William Shakespeare. He was born on 26th April 1564 and died on 23rd April 1616. He was an English playwright, poet, actor, widely regarded as greatest writer in the English language and the world's greatest dramatist. He is often called England's national poet and bard of Avon. Simply the bard. The bard means one who is master in producing art, and he has that potential. His extant works, including collaborations, 37 plays, 154 sonnets, and 2 long narrative poems. All these about Shakespeare's details. Next, we take a look at Elizabethan theatre. Queen Elizabeth I was English monarch during the first part of Shakespeare's career. In Elizabethan theatre, English Renaissance theatre, also known as Renaissance English theatre and Elizabethan theatre, which refers to theatre of England between 1562 and 1642. The theatre is sometimes used to mean English Renaissance theatre is a strict sense Elizabethan only, which refers to period of Queen Elizabeth reign. Already we have discussed its period, that is 1558 to 1603. The English Renaissance may be said to encompasses the following three period. Elizabethan theatre from 1562 to 1603, Jacobean theatre from 1603 to 1625, Caroline theatre from 1625 to 1642. When we talk about or know about William Shakespeare's and Shakespeare's theatre or Elizabethan theatre, we must know about land structure and its background. Actually, theatre was located in London. It had some story. One of the stories which I have recorded here. London was actually separated by the river Thames from an area called Southwark. You just understand. It was crowded, slow, and dangerous. Actually, the river Thames was separated by a bridge. The bridge is always crowded, slow, and dangerous. It wasn't include the legal boundaries of the city of London. So people decided to spend their time lavishly in that place. So they paid to take to that place through boat. So if you pay boatmen some rupees, they would take to you that place. Naturally, people went there to do things they weren't allowed to do in London. So then it was called a bad part of a town. And here I have given you the old image which is painted by William Horace. The next objective is that cockfighting, bear biting. These two things were very important in the details of how theatres were emerged, and these things were hatted by William Shakespeare. There were taverns where people got drunk on beer and ale. There was a gambling, prostitution, pickpockets, and other criminals, as well as a lot of animal cruelty that most people totally find barbaric today. Like cockfighting, which is where you get two roosters to fight each other to the death, and you get a bet on one and other to win. The next one is bear biting. Bear biting was when a captured bear, sometimes with its teeth pulled, was chained into the post and set upon a vicious dogs. It was cruel, and imagine that Shakespeare hated it. He referred to it more than once in this place. In the next objectives, we will look at Shakespeare outlawed. The subtitle itself gives you some understanding about the theatre. Why it was closed. London theatres were closed in 1596 for the two reasons. One of the reasons is Puritans thought it was immoral. Actually, Puritan did against plays staged, and the second one is bubonic plague outbreaks like corona, which we know now. As a result, putting on plays was literally against law in London during much of the period. Shakespeare had to dismantle this theatre board by board and rebuilt in Southwark. So this is the one of the background information. The next objective is the theatre itself. Shakespeare's theatre was called globe theatre, but he himself called it as a wooden O. It was a round building, no artificial lighting, and he got a model from Swan Theatre by Jans de Wilt 1596. And we must see some futuric aspect of inside theatre. There was an elevated stage and a balcony. There was also flies. The flies is used to by heroes to appear and disappear through rope from the top to stage. The next, and there was one trap door in the floor of the stage, so that an actor would jump down into it and disappear and came out it. And no painted setup behind them, but they had a tap strips back there. You know that no painting images, but they used tap strips. And there were a few set pieces in Tomb in the Romeo and Juliet. Then Shakespeare used advertisement. Shakespeare advertised through some of the ways, the oldest ways, even it is popular today. Advertises made through hosting color flags to tell people across the river what kind of play was being performed. White flag meant for comedy. When a white flag is hoisted over the tower, which means that day comedies would be played. If a red flag hoisted on the tower, that means historical plays would be played. If a black flag hoisted on the tower, that means tragedies would be played. So these are the three colors through which Shakespeare advertised to the people what play would be staged through different colors. White for comedies, red for historical plays, and black for tragedies. So when we talk about seating arrangement, and there were two classification: upper and middle class audience members paid 2 pence for seat, and the poor people paid just a penny to stand in front of the stage. Vendors, there were vendors who would walk around selling eatable things. Groundlings, desirable and undesirable activities they would do. And with this I will finish. Let us discuss about the comprehend questions in this video. Give a brief introduction about Shakespeare. You know that you yourself give brief introduction. You just make a mind map about brief introduction about Shakespeare, when he was born on 23 April 1564, and the same date, same month he died on 1660. What is the name of the Shakespeare's theatre? You know that the Globe Theatre, and he himself called it as wooden O. What tells white red flag? And we discussed white flag meant for comedies, a red flag meant for historical plays, and a black flag meant for tragedies. So look at the reference. So with this I finish this video lesson. I will meet you once again with a different topic. Thank you one and all.